I'm Peter Kolker. Ann was my wife, and I turned the clock back a little bit to 1996 when she first experienced the ovarian cancer, and quickly came to the realization that there was not an advocacy organization on a national level to advocate for cancer patients. Because Annie had a background doing advocacy work on women's issues, this was a natural for her, and she was able to learn a lot about what it takes to get policy implemented for the benefit of ovarian cancer patients. And after she passed away a few years ago, we felt that this would be a fitting legacy for her. And I know she would be thrilled and proud of what's already been accomplished and anxious to know that it could be carried out by the next Ann Kolker Fellow.
The Ann Kolker Fellowship has proven to be an invaluable portion of our advocacy team. And we've had some really terrific advocates over the 5 years since this program has commenced. I'm really excited about the opportunity to work with the next Kolker Fellow. And every fellow has brought something different to the table, some different type of knowledge or background. They've worked on really big projects. They've spent time on the Hill. They've led meetings with members of Congress, and they've written some really important documents and reports that are still we're still using today. So I'm thrilled with the progress of the program. And I think that we're lucky enough to have our first Kolker Fellow, Amelia Robert, who's going to have a conversation with some of our more recent Kolker Fellows coming up next. So take it away, Amelia.
Well, hi, Odia. Good to see you.
It's good to see you as well.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the program that you're in now that you've completed the Kolker Fellowship?
Sure. So I began my PhD in health policy and management with a concentration in bioethics at Johns Hopkins University this past August. And it's been quite the experience. Even today, actually, I was talking about cancer survivors and particularly focused on some of the things that I learned in OCRA. The fellowship definitely gave me an opportunity to step outside of my understanding of the world and just the system at large and really focus on some of the intricacies of people's individual experiences while also getting to speak with them. Because it's very easy to do that in theory, but being able to really immerse myself in that for a year was something that I felt that I needed. And I think I was absolutely correct in that assumption.
How do you think that the Kolker Fellowship is preparing you for a career in patient advocacy and health policy?
Yeah, so I think this fellowship has reminded me time and time again why I wanted to work in this field in the first place, why I want to do health policy. And that is because it can change people's lives. So, seeing how our advocates work tirelessly to advance their legislative priorities has shown me just how critical patient advocacy is and how orgs like us are basically the essential bridge between advocates and congressional members. We can help them make those connections necessary to bring about the changes they want to see in their community. When we open the floor for them in meetings, I think that's where I learn the most. It can get a little overwhelming because they all want to share everything, and that's fantastic. And when I go back through, there are so many nuances to our system that I have never encountered, so I had never even thought about. And I think that's made me a better policymaker, because now there's all these angles I'll consider when I'm looking at things that I wasn't thinking about before. And that's important if we're going to build an equitable healthcare system. So again, I think it's the work with them that truly makes this a unique opportunity, just because you have so much to learn from so many different people.
So what would you say to anyone else who's considering applying for the Kolker Fellowship?
So anyone else considering applying, I would say definitely do. And I would say that this is an opportunity that is unique. So there is a lot of hands-on work, and you do have that unique atmosphere where you can get pulled in to help with something, if there's a need, and you can kind of set goals for yourself that they make sure that you're achieving, which is very nice. And I think that if you do want to apply, just know that, this is going to be something where you work on a range of different issues. You'll leave with a pretty diverse portfolio. You might not you would be surprised how many issues there are in ovarian cancer care that relate to such broader things. There's a million things behind it that you now have knowledge on that you didn't before.